Our podcast originated from two inquisitive women in their 60s, walking around in New York City and talking and listening to the seniors who offered us generous, interesting, and inspiring life stories. Right. Aida, congratulations for your graduation.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you so much. And thank you also for coming to the studio today.
Welcome, Aida. I'm glad you're here today.
Thank you for this opportunity, Debbie.
Yes, you look vibrant today in your gold outfit. I love your shape, NYC.
Trying to represent New York.
Definitely.
Very nice.
Even the Knicks, even though they lost.
Yeah, I know. But
Yes.
the earrings are beautiful.
Thank you.
Debbie and I have been interviewing seniors, inspiring seniors, energetic, and some gorgeous seniors to learn from them. But also, we are interested in how to live more our senior life with purpose, gracefully. And here you are, just telling us your story.
Yeah, because we want to learn from all of our guests as well.
Well, thank you. I think as I approach that stage of my life, I am trying to be healthy. I am trying to stay positive. I am trying to work on my weight. But I think as a caregiver of a person who has Alzheimer's, I've learned that you need the government and the programs to help you too. Being a senior doesn't mean that you have to be treated like you are something is wrong with you. You know, you have to have people treat you with respect, but you also need a good support system.
Right.
Because a lot of people discount you. They think that, oh, well, you are over the hill, you don't count. I think there's some of us that are healthy and proactive and want to do things just like everybody else.
That is so true. Yes,
Yeah.
very true.
There's a lot of misconception about aging, especially in this country. I think in Asian society, we respect the seniors.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so we don't have that here. The youthfulness, the beauty.
That's true.
It's very superficial, way to evaluate people.
Exactly. I think from the Latin community point of view, I think one of the things that Latin people fail to do is there's a lot of us that like to deny their age. Like in my family,
True.
right? My family,
Is that right?
When I remember when I started hearing about vitamins, I was living in California, and there was this very famous vitamin spot that we used to go to, and I told my mom, "Ma, they have stuff for your brain. They have stuff for menopause." And she's like, "No, don't talk to me about that. I'm not old."
We don't discuss age.
Right.
Oh, really?
No.
But we should, because I think every stage of our life is important, and we need to take care of ourselves accordingly.
Yes.
I think if my mom had been proactive, maybe the Alzheimer's could have been slowed down. I mean, it's a disease that you can't stop. But I think that's one of the reasons why now I take my vitamins. I hate taking pills, but I try to take care of myself.
See, but you're taking care of yourself. I'm doing the same thing as well. I'm doing the yoga, and I'm doing everything possible because of my father's prognosis of dementia, which I never even expected him to. But I did notice slightly more than my mother that he wasn't himself. It was slowly, but then I saw it coming. And then once he had the stroke, a mini stroke, then it really started progressing. Even right within like the last, 5 to 7 years, he really went downhill.
The same thing happened to my mom. I think for me, I come from a large family.
Right.
My mom had 4 kids, and she had like 5, 6 siblings. So when I was living in California when I first heard about it, and my brother would say, "Something is wrong with mommy. So I think she got dementia." And he was the first one who talked about Alzheimer's. And I used to say no, because, when you have a large family, you're going to talk to your husband, and you're going to talk to your children, siblings. And when my mom used to get upset, you will hear about it all day long. But the thing that got me a little upset later on was that I think my family that was in New York should have been proactive. No one took her to the doctor. She hated the doctor. That was another thing. A lot of Latinos like to do home remedies.
Of course,
You know, hot thing, oh, you can't go to sleep? Put Vicks in your eyes. Your throat hurts? Eat Vicks. I think that's another thing we need to be proactive about. Go
Right.
to the doctor regularly, and hopefully if you have a caring doctor, it can help you.
You know, they like to use their herbs and
Teas.
the native herbs and teas. And
Is that different from holistic approach? It's more
it's
Like you say.
holistic, yeah.
home remedy kind of.
Yes, yes, but I think the holistic has more. There's some background to it, whereas we go by whatever we grew up with. You know, like my mom was like, "Oh, ginger tea, that's good for your throat." I didn't know that it was also good for your stomach. So I think when you start drinking this kind of things, you have to do your due diligence and look into what is really good for.
Right.
Yeah, see, like we had, like when we were children, which you probably know about, well, we call them plant baths, the plantas, whatever. I don't know what that whole entails, because I know a lot of some of my roots, but not entail, but I remember that part. Whenever you had a cold, you're going into the bathtub and you're going to get some mixture concoction poured all over you, and then you're going to go to bed and sweat it out.
Oh,
And then after a few hours, you're feeling better.
That's
Let me
quick.
tell you. So I used to call them the plant baths. And even my grandmother, even
Plant
my mother
bath.
was doing it too.
I
With the chicken
see.
soup.
Yeah, and with the
Chicken
chicken soup,
soup.
exactly.
I see.
But I do remember that.
Wow. But your mom has been having the condition for 20 years.
Yes, which is another thing that I'm really irked about with the system here. I find that because my mom has Alzheimer's, she's been written off. I mean, she has officially been diagnosed for 20 years now. She outlived 4 of her siblings, 3 of her significant others, some of my cousins. And it sucks because I've been concentrating so much on her that my dad died last month. We were in a class.
Yes, I
and
heard. Yes.
Our instructor was so good because I kept getting texts from my family back home and they said, your dad is not good. But because I always thought of him as the healthy one,
Right.
I kept saying, he'll be okay. I was planning to go visit him. Hold on, I'm not going to get emotional. I was planning to go visit him for Father's Day. But because my money's not right, when you go back
Right, you
home
weren't
to your
you-
country.
Right, you weren't able to, yeah.
Right, and when you go home to your country, you got to take care of family. I knew he was sick, so I was thinking I'm going to have to spend money on him, and that didn't happen. And it really irks me because then a lot of the doctors here are telling me, your mother is on her last stage of Alzheimer's. Get ready for it. They even got me a palliative nurse and people to come every month. And my mother is outliving all these people, which is bad because then you prioritize the wrong way.
Yeah, it's just, it's not that they're going to pass away right away. Because you don't know that. You don't know when is your time. They're assuming that they're going to, okay, your parents ready to go, so prepare for it. But you don't know that.
Exactly.
Because I know on my father's side, they live to 100. So I might be going through this for another 10 years, I would say. And
You
maybe
have a good
not.
gene in your
Yeah, so I
family.
don't know. Like my mother's side of the family, she's fine. She just got arthritis problems. She's cooking, and I do help her with everything else, with the cleaning and all that. But as long as she got her walker, when I do take her outside, she's fine.
God bless her.
Yes. But Aida, you like New York City, you said, amongst the places that you lived, California.
Yes. One thing, I know I'm going to sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I find that New York is good for those of us that are single and getting old. When I lived in California was very superficial, and I was still young, but I was able to see that that's the kind of place where you always have to be
Right.
on your P's and Q's. Then I moved to Connecticut, and with the company I was working for, a lot of people didn't go to college because they went to work for this company. So the young people were dating each other, and the people that were in their 30s, 40s were already married. So here I am by myself, and I'm like, I didn't belong anywhere. So that's how I started to get fat, because the only place I could go was go to the mall, go to the movies.
You weren't able to do your,
Right, you don't have a social life. Whereas here in New York, I may have a bad day, but there's always something going on. Like right now, look, you cross the street, it's Bryant Park. They have events there.
Right.
The library. This is how I ended up here, because there's events to go where you can you don't have to feel uncomfortable because you're by yourself. And then you meet people. I socialize, I
Right.
chit chat with you, and that's how we
Yeah,
start
you're
to
very
talk.
friendly.
Right.
A lot of the other places are not like that. You
No.
know, in New York, you can go to the bodega at any time.
Right.
Places like California, Connecticut, and even Jersey. You know, I lived in Jersey for a minute, and I had to come back because I didn't know that the trains only work to 1 o'clock. I
Oh
was
yeah,
living
they're
in East
only
Orange.
they're only 1 o'clock.
I got stuck. You know how many times I got stuck on 34th Street? So I think that's the beauty of New York, that you can move around at any time you want. You can go anywhere you want. But where I'm finding the problem is the ageism. People are not being treated right because they're a certain age or whatever perception they have of you. Because a lot of people don't realize I'm old until they see my resume. You know, because right now I can't even say, oh, they didn't like me. You know,
Right.
I know I have a colorful personality. I'm talkative. I can't even say they were based on my personality. It's based on my paperwork.
It's based on your age, because
Correct.
I've come
Yes.
across that myself.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you find out about the library?
You know, I went to the library a couple of times, and then I saw the bulletin board.
Okay.
And like I say, I'm technologically challenged, and I saw the classes. So I said, you know what? I went to one, and I have already missed the deadline for that season. So they said, well, sign up, and then we'll send you an
Okay.
email. And I did, and I went for the test, and I passed.
Okay.
So these things are really good for you, because those of us that are technically challenged, we always say, oh, no, you go ahead and do it. And that was another thing. My mom was in a nursing home that was a little negligent, and I had asked my sister to get a camera because she is really good with stuff like that. She never did, you know, and they were things that we could have done about that. Had I been more savvy, I probably could have done it myself. So I think as I get older, I want to be more autonomous, and this kind of classes offers me
I think
knowledge.
it's going to make you more aware and meeting other people like ourselves.
Right.
You know, different types of people. You have to meet all types of people.
You're
You have
right.
to come out of your neighborhood,
Yeah.
and then like you're doing right now, and just talking with people and just checking out things, even wandering around the city.
Opens up the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why. You know, that's why I like Manhattan too, because I was raised in Brooklyn, and I ended up in the Bronx and Harlem by pure serendipity. But I like it because I can take, if I want to take the bus, I go down the block. I take the M2, the M1. Harlem is very convenient because of that.
Right.
You are not stuck in any way. If the trains are not working, you have the buses. If they are not working,
That's
a
true.
$20 Uber, you can get around. And that's another reason why I love
Or
New
you
York.
can walk around.
Correct. Although my back is starting to hurt, so I can only walk but so much.
Oh, but you'll be able to do that eventually.
And
hope
because
so.
of the gentrification, the Harlem is getting beautiful.
Oh, yes. It's really nice over there. I mean, you'd be surprised. Like I was telling you, one New Year when my mom was still semi-healthy, there was a fashion show in one of the hotels. And when I walked in there, it was nothing but French people. But I didn't realize that 116th Street has a lot of Africans that are from
Oh,
France.
yes.
So there's a lot of French people. So it's nice. It's the diversity that exists in Harlem is beautiful. I love it.
That's true.
And then you got East Harlem where we get the
Yeah,
the
because
Spanish
I
food.
remember my girlfriend when she was living in the projects well, the ones in around 116th Street. So she sometimes used to have, I don't know, she belonged to some society, black society, and she used to have the fashion shows in the somewhere on 125th Street.
Probably
I think in the
Apollo.
state where the Clinton.
Oh yeah, the federal
Yeah.
building.
Yeah. So, and I'm saying this is nice. You know, they weren't paid. Those people coming out with these outfits, beautiful.
They're very creative.
Yeah, really. And I'm like saying it's so nice that it's so culturally, like you said, diverse. Because it's not just Latins, there's everybody in there.
Yeah, even now, up the block from me, there's a Mexican taco truck. Before I had to go to Broadway where the Latinos are.
Right.
Now they're coming out to 7th and 8th Avenue,
That's
which is
true.
great.
Yeah. Because even in my neighborhood, you know, even where I live in Queens, in Long Island City, oh yeah, we got our taco trucks and
Well, the city is changing,
Yeah.
diversifying.
It is.
yeah.
Which is a catch-22. That's why we, as people of a certain age, got to keep up with it. Because I remember when I was raised in Brooklyn, So now when I go to Brooklyn, it feels like a whole different world. I love Brooklyn, but now it's like I don't belong here anymore. And I lived in every area from East New York, Crown Heights, Sunset Park, Bay Ridge.
Oh yeah, you were all over.
I know Brooklyn. The only parts I don't really know that well are Greenpoint. But everything else for in downtown, Coney Island.
And like, downtown Brooklyn and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now you're very busy taking care of your mom, but do you have any passion or the goal that you want to pursue?
With everything that's been going on, that's why I decided to take this class. I said I have to do something for myself. I kept thinking I was going to get a job anytime, so I didn't want to do anything. But now that I see there's a problem, I've decided that I'm going to look into nursing, geriatric nursing. So that's why I thought it was interesting that you have somebody coming in like that.
Yes.
I want to do something proactive for people my age, and I want to be in there to make a difference. Another thing I'm very passionate about is all the free events that happen in New York.
There's plenty of free events.
Oh yeah, and I follow this website that is so good. So I usually have an aide from Tuesday to Friday. So I make sure that Thursday, Friday, I go out and I engage in some kind of event.
Oh, that's really good.
Lincoln Center, we went to free events.
Yeah, I've gone to some of the Lincoln Center because they had something on the Latin America poets.
That was interesting.
A few months ago, which was really good.
And now they're going to have silent disco. You can go
they
dancing.
have, like on Fridays, they have the disco. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Pier 1, they have salsa and bachata lessons.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I try to do, because if you stay home, you get old, you get fat, you get bitter, and you really hold on to the negative things. That's why I try to go out, because between my bills right now, I can sit there and just feel sorry for myself.
It gives you a diversion. And then you're going to take your anger out on your mother.
Right.
Because indirectly you don't want to do that, but if you got so much tension, you're so aggravated. So that's I'm glad to see that, you're doing
you
something.
have to release the stress to be a better
Well,
caretaker.
You're right. That's why I'm in touch with my feelings, and I always know. And that's why I even had to tell my sister about herself. I said, I don't say that I'm the best, but I've been working my butt off with her for the last 20 years. I was the one who got her diagnosed. When her leg got hurt, I was the one who went and got her back home. I'm the one who was going to the nursing home on a regular. So to see that she's getting all the accolades and I'm the one just getting the problems is very, very unnerving.
Are you the eldest of the family? Your siblings are younger than you?
My brother, it was 4 of us. One of them passed away in 2005, and that's how everybody found out my mom got Alzheimer's.
Oh, okay.
They say that death brings out whatever.
Yes.
And they were very close because my sister and that brother lived with her. But the oldest is my brother, who's still living in the Bronx, and I was the youngest from my mom and my dad. My sister is 10 years younger than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Where is the best place you have traveled to?
Oh, wow. I have to say I always have a thing for Europe. I went to France, Italy, and London.
Nice.
But I think I love London.
Okay.
London, but the only thing, again, and this is why I tell everybody that's young, travel while you're young, because those places, when they talk about palazzo in plazas, those things are humongous. I did a cruise, and it so happened that the day that we went to Rome, it was the day that the Vatican was doing the mass in that whole plaza.
That large plaza, yes.
Yes, that place is humongous. So it was one of those things that is a dream come true. And now I would love to go to Africa. Or Asia. I always said that I should have been Italian or Asian because I love their food. So now that I went to Italy, Asia is also in my bucket list. But with everything that's going on, I don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, well, you make it.
Well, it's going to happen.
You just got to keep on, at least you traveled. It's not like, I just traveling now. Even though it's not too late, but at least you've done it.
That's true. That's true. My first aspiration was to go through all the 50 states of the United States. But then I learned that every place in the states is different. So I said, and there's always that people have this perception of New Yorkers because I know I love California, but when the minute they used to hear that I was from New York, there was always that defensive,ness. And, I never knew that was true because I thought it was only between the rappers. But when they used to hear my accent, and they were like, I detect an accent. I said, oh, yeah, I'm Latina. They're like, no, you're from New York. You're from Brooklyn. I was like, oh, wow. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to other places. So it's nice because then when you go abroad, then you also bond with people from the States. So it's a whole different energy there.
That's true because when I went on a tour. What was it? I forgot. I don't know if it was Seattle somewhere, like a foodie tour. No, it was Chicago. That's where it was. I went on a foodie tour, right? So I was the only New Yorker there. I didn't know I was going to be so popular. Have you been to this museum? And did you see this exhibit? Did you see this play? I was getting more questions about no food, everything about New York City.
Oh, because you are a New Yorker?
Yes, I'm a New Yorker because everybody else was either from
very
Chicago.
Popular then.
Yeah, all of a sudden they were very popular. It was like about 10 or 15 hours going to different spots. It was like a 3-hour food tour in Chicago, which was great. But I was like Miss Popular. I was like, what?
People have a fascination with New Yorkers. Either they love us or they hate us.
That's true.
Yeah. Interesting. Even that's globally true.
Yes.
Yeah. So sometimes I tell them, I'm from West New York, New Jersey. But they were thinking, is that a New York?
Because is that part of New York?
It's a part of New York because it's a metropolitan New York. So it's hard to explain in a way.
I mean, I've heard of that, so.
Yeah.
It's not foreign to me.
It's not foreign to you. Okay. Do we ask the last question or not?
What time is it?
Oh, maybe
okay.
20.
Okay, we're going to ask our favorite question that we ask all of our guests. Please imagine that you are Marie Antoinette, okay? The night before the execution by guillotine, angels appear, offer you a last meal, any dish or food that you love. What would that be?
This is where my Guatemalan roots will come in. My Garifuna Guatemalan roots will come in. There is this dish called machuca, and I think the Dominicans call it sancocho.
I've heard of that, yeah.
It's mashed plantains with seafood soup. And that's great. And also the fried fish with rice and beans. The rice and beans come with coconut.
Ooh.
And plantains.
Okay. What kind of beans?
I think it's red.
The red beans?
Yes.
Beans? Okay.
But they do it in coconut milk.
Oh, they mix it up or something?
Yeah,
okay.
and that was another thing. I went to Cayman Islands one day, and I asked the guide. I said, "Take us to a place where we can eat legit native food." And he took us to the beach, and I took a bite from the rice and beans, and I said, "Oh, this is coconut style. This is Guatemalan style." And there was somebody from Costa Rica there, and she was like, "No, that's Costa Rican." And then the Jamaican said, "No, man, it's ours." I said, "You know what? All of us are the same, but yet different.
We're all the same backgrounds, just variations of ourselves."
Right. So that's something that I would love to eat because I'm like I said, I'm a little bitter with what happened with my dad, that I didn't go, that now I literally have nothing in Guatemala. But there's something like the culture, because, my culture is very similar to the Mexicans.
Right.
We eat tacos and refried beans, but there's something that little corner from that is your country is never be the same anywhere.
That's interesting with the coconut. Probably my mother knows more about it. She's the one who cooks.
Where are you from originally?
Well, I was born here, but I have from Puerto Rico.
Okay, yeah.
And my grandfather is Mexican.
Okay, see, I think that's what, because a lot of people don't realize, we could be here all day. A lot of people don't realize this. Guatemala has Belize used to be part of Guatemala.
Right.
And a lot of people came from the islands. So there's 3 different type of black people in Guatemala. The ones that are Haitian descendant, Jamaican descendant,
right.
And the Garifunas are from St. Vincent. And my mom is Garifuna.
Okay.
But we all have that same thing, the fish and the fried fish and the rice and beans and the plantains with the potato salad is something that I think came from the islands. And they mixed it with the Guatemalan version.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Is there any place we can go in New York City to eat that?
No, you know what's so sad? I have to say, I was telling somebody, there's a Honduran place, and we almost the same thing in the Bronx, that is close to it. But that's why I tell you, where you feel like you're a little territorial to your own.
Oh.
They are good, but doesn't taste the same. You know, it's like the tamales. I love all the tamales from Mexico and all the other countries, but there's nothing like the Guatemalan tamal. I think the closest is the Panamanian tamal, and they make their tamal in a pot, which is different.
Wow.
So it all depends.
Yeah, I have to agree with you because I have tacos here, but when I went to New Mexico or even Mexico, that whole part of that's totally, it tastes totally different. It's good.
Mhm.
I mean, it tastes authentic, like, because even when you have like a drink in, like, you know, the coquito or any drink like in Puerto Rico, the rum is like when you have like the rum and coke, it tastes totally different down there.
Just one last question. How do you say, what advice do you give to our 18-year-old self?
Be assertive. Nothing is going to be given to you. I always thought that if I followed the rules, went to school, did the right thing, that people would say, you deserve it. No, you have to fight for what you want. And I think that's one of my biggest regrets, that I wasn't assertive enough. I was given opportunities, and then I said, oh, that's okay, next time. When opportunity knocks, open the door, because you never know when you're going to get another chance.
That's true.
And I have a lot of regrets.
Great advice.
Like they say, el que tiene tienda que la tienda, there's a saying in Spanish, right? That if you have a store, you have to take care of it, because nobody's going to say the things for you the way you want to say.
Yeah, you fight your war.
Exactly.
Yes.
You did just